To our huge audience, how's everybody doing tonight? Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there and expectant fathers and everybody who might be a father in the future. What? 5 people, but nobody's leaving comments. They're all lurkers. Are you counting yourself?
Yes.
So that would be 4. Do the math.
No. Too hard. Sorry.
We're only missing one of our little group.
On what?
We have Mexican Spec, Mrs. Spec, Perro Spec, and Dr. Spec. We're missing one. Yep. Gato Spec has not asked to come in yet. And I'm not going to go chase him down outside. So maybe nobody wants to come in here because of the Father's Day.
Hey, Vilefly's here.
Hello, Vilefly.
Vilefly's getting into a can of RC Cola.
Ooh, RC Cola.
MH0862 is here.
Hello, MH. Your first time lurking? Welcome.
Thank you for being here.
I hope you like cars, because that's what we're going to be showing tonight. You can put on the slideshow. Like this 1980 Datsun 210, that's not a Mexican vehicle. Like I was telling everybody yesterday, this car right here, when I had to take my training from a private company, and the guy pulled up to the house in one of these, 1980, 81, somewhere around there. Okay. The guy comes to my door, knocks on the door, and I go out of the house, and he hands me his bunch of keys like that. So I'm looking at the keys. I get in the driver's side. I put a key in the ignition, and I turn it to the on position. Vilefly, fortunately, my son came and he invited us out to dinner tonight. So we went out to dinner. We're going to have the pork chops tomorrow night. Are they thick or thin? They're not thick. Really thick.
They're thick.
They're not.
One of them is
they're not paper thin, but they're not thick either. So the car would not start. And the guy looks over and he says, that's not the key to this car. It was the key to his personal Toyota, not the Datsun. Okay. So he got under the hood and he jumped it and he started the car. And he says, we're going to drive to a locksmith. So went to a locksmith got the key out of the ignition, turned the ignition off. So I was able to put the Datsun key in and start the car, and then started my driver's test. My driver's lesson, which I already knew anyway. He wasn't teaching me anything that I didn't already know. Today, you wouldn't need that because all you have is a push button in a car. Just push a button and go. Just keep the key in your pocket.
Are you guys on celebrating Father's Day? Papa says, oh well, even the fat will taste good.
I'm looking forward to what they taste like, Vilefly.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate the recipe you gave us.
Vilefly says funny story.
Yeah, the second day of the lessons, he said, pull over here. I can see you know how to drive. Here's what's going to be on the test. And that was the extent of the lesson. And he was talking about the driving part of the test. And because he did that, I got 100% on the driving part of the test. That was not a problem. I got 2 wrong on the written test. 1 I still do today, the look over my shoulder or look in the mirror to change lanes. I don't do both. You're supposed to do both. I don't see a need for it. And the Mothers Against Drunk Driver laws changed the year that I took my test. So we were taught in high school, the driver's education class, the old laws and the penalties, but the new ones were on the test. So I didn't know what they were. So I blame Mothers Against Drunk Drivers for that. Mm-hmm. Oh, Vilefly, my son is here, Dr. Spec. He's in the live with us right now. I don't know if you can hear him because he doesn't talk very loud. Say hi to Vilefly. Say hi to Vilefly. He's right there.
Hi, Vilefly. I don't know. Probably.
Yeah. Oh, because I have the microphone like halfway between him and Mrs. Spec, so I hope you can hear everything.
Yeah, move a little closer. But pues I keep forgetting and to set the parking brake on the transmission.
I Every car I go in, if it has it, I set the parking brake. My Durango, I park it, put the parking brake on. My first car, my '63 Fury, the when I bought it in 1982, when I bought her in 1982, the cable for the emergency brake had already disintegrated into dust, and I never. She right now she's still sitting out back, and there's no emergency brake cable on her. That's something I haven't gotten around to doing. My other '63 Plymouth, the Savoy, has one, and it felt um, really weird using the emergency brake in that car because it was just like a mirror image of the other car.
Well, let's just type it up to Spec. Now Barracuda's here.
Hey Barracuda,
Hey, Barracuda.
are you watching the game or is the game over? Barracuda. Barracuda's from New Zealand, and his team was playing right now. Is it over?
They were winning.
I don't know.
They were winning.
Yep.
Last I saw, they were winning. Yeah, 1-0.
But you said the game's only 90 minutes.
Yeah, but they were.
Is that 90 our minutes or 90 their minutes?
It's 90 our minutes, but it's like 45 minutes, then a break, and then 45 minutes, and then extra
Well,
if they go to.
we've been here for an hour, so it should have been over by now.
I don't know.
Did your team win, Barracuda? Or are you not watching it?
Well, pues been here well enough. My father's dinner was deep dish pizza from Old Chicago Pizza and a Boulevard wheat beer.
Oh, nice. Pizza. I remember pizza. Long time ago.
Wait, I thought you had wasn't this sensitivity problem? Wasn't it problem that had this?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Because he eats all kinds of stuff. And he makes all kinds of stuff.
Or what? Maybe he was just giving you tips, and I thought that he was also. Anyway, Pablo says what's so stuffed. Regular says my neighbor had a violent wagon like that in the 70s. Good looking car.
Yes, except for this one, they cheaped out on the taillights. Look what they did for the taillights on this. They just put generic trailer taillights instead of getting on eBay in the US and having some of the real taillights sent in because it's not that difficult to find. I know it's a wagon, they made fewer of them, but the taillights are out there. He can't hear you very well.
Sorry. Hold on.
We can get the other mic, or she can move closer to me. Not sure which.
Hi, hello. How are you?
What game?
How dare you, Barracuda?
Yes, football, the World Cup. While we were at dinner, the TV was on in there, of course, because it's Mexico and New Zealand. Who was New Zealand playing? Egypt. New Zealand was playing Egypt, and last we saw, New Zealand was ahead.
One Bubbles says hi,
Yeah.
Josh Homan is here.
Hello, Josh. Thanks for joining us.
Josh Homan says good to be here. Bubbles says hi, Barracuda. Perfect audio.
Oh, okay. She moved closer.
Yeah.
I could lean over like this when she talks, and lean over when he talks.
So, Steven Andrews is here.
Hello, Stephen Andrews too. How are you?
Hola, feliz día del padre.
And it says here, hola, feliz día del padre. So why didn't it translate that? I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding why sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I don't change settings or anything, so
Yeah,
it's just out of my hands.
Maybe you should.
I don't know. Luckily, we know both languages. So. Ooh. Oh, I'm kind of full. We went to a rib place, so of course I had ribs. But I think what this place does, they don't sell the whole rib. They like cut it down the middle, and they give you half of it, and then call it a full rack and charge you for the full rack. But they're not baby back. They weren't baby back.
Dan Neighbor is here.
Hola, Dan. How are you?
Hey, Dan.
Dan Eboyd. Yep.
Yes, that's perfect.
My son is here, Dan. Dr. Spec is here. Gato Spec has not shown his face.
Barracuda says, I'm not very interested in sports except motocross and car racing. Oh,
It's the
okay.
World Cup, though. And
Yeah.
we're the world.
Surrounders wants this high.
Hello, Stephen Andrews one.
Papa says, my baby is now at summer camp. Oh, cool.
Ooh, vacation for you guys. What are you guys gonna do with her gone?
Papa says, beef ribs or pork?
Pork. There were pork ribs. And Mrs. Spec had what we could call a hamburger. It was kind of like a big meatball on a hamburger bun that didn't really fit. And Dr. Spec had a fried chicken sandwich, which was actually a really big piece of chicken and with a whole bunch of stuff on it. And he had a hard time finishing it. So he's stuffed too.
Dan says, hola to Dr. Spec. Papa says, we're going to eat out a lot.
That's good. That's good. I think that's what my parents did when I went to summer camp. It was like a vacation for them. It didn't occur to me at the time that it was like that, but I think about it now, and yes, I think that's what it was.
Barracuda asks Papa where do they live. He says in Canada. Papa says, nice, meatball sandwich. It was kind of dry though.
But it's sold as a hamburger, so the meatball was kind of like in the middle of the bun, top and bottom, and she's like, "There's so much bread here compared to the meat."
Yeah. Papa says, not Kansas City. Fernando says, wait, says 53, but those are 54 taillights and grill.
I just go by what the ad said when I got it, so the owner thinks it's a 53. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Very good. It says everything's up to date in Kansas City. What do you mean?
Why didn't you ask what side of Kansas City he lives on? There's Kansas City, Missouri, and there's Kansas City, Kansas.
Well, what do you mean everything's
The
up to
the
date?
state line goes right down the middle of the city.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Mm.
See, Barracuda lives in New Zealand, which is on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
So they're like hanging upside down like that from the ground.
I don't think so.
You don't?
I don't
Why
think
not?
that's how it works.
Their toilets go backwards. That's what everybody says. I don't know. I haven't been there.
Bafle says, well, we'll be going after all the bread products we can lay our hands on.
Is your daughter gluten intolerant? Is
Yeah,
that why?
I believe so. Bafle says Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, Missouri.
Bafle says with all the criminals. Slow.
On the Missouri side.
Andrew says, well, maybe it was registered in late 53.
It could be. I don't know.
MH says, bars and Q in Kansas City are the best. Have done heavy partying in Westport.
Hmm.
Barracuda says, I'm losing my grip.
Aren't we all, Barracuda?
Yeah.
They call it the land down under. That's Australia. New Zealand is right across from there. Farther south. Yeah, because he's losing his grip. He's hanging upside down and losing his grip. And in case you don't know, since it's summer here, it's winter where he is. So we're sweating our butts off here, and he's coming into cold weather.
Yep. Papa says, yep, Fly Baby has to live.
Yeah, great. Dr. Speg just told me today that he might have it. He has to get tested for it.
So that's why.
For a couple of different reasons.
That's why Bafle knows so much about celiac when we talk about it.
Mm-hmm. We didn't even talk about this truck on the last one, which has a turbo 4-cylinder in it. It says Shelby on the side. I don't know if it is a Shelby truck, but I did save it so I could list it at some point. Mm-hmm. But it's an interesting looking truck. And it's a manual too.
Will the Trail is here.
Hello, Will the Trail.
Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Spec.
And Dr. Spec is here too with us.
Papa says Westport used to be the party place. I haven't been there at night since my 20s. Believe yourself is here.
Hello, Believe. Good to see you.
Believe says hello, Mr. and Mrs. Spec, Firefly, MH, Barracuda, Stephen Andrews, and Danny Boy.
He left you out.
I know.
Barracuda says everything's a play in Kansas City is a song in the musical Oklahoma. Oh.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Fernando says the 53 to 54 Chevys are one of the earliest car memories. There was an old one in our driveway we used to play in.
Oh, nice. The on Cold War Motors today, he got himself. He was given a Peugeot 604, and it has a really nice interior, but it's rusted, no engine. And my comment to him was, I would clean up the interior, sit behind the steering wheel, and do vroom vroom noises, vroom 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 like that. The interior is really nice. I do that in my Fury.
I've heard that one, so I'm gonna let Mr. Spec read that one.
That's okay.
What? Read it.
Believe says, yeah, I've had a colonoscopy. Oscopy. I guess you could say I had a Cameron Diaz.
Do you get it?
Cameron Diaz. No.
Cameron Diaz.
Oh, Cameron Diaz. Okay.
It took you a minute.
Yeah, it took me a minute. It's the pronunciation.
Yeah. Always says, puede ser, yes. MH says, sad to hear that butterfly. I haven't really been to Kansas City for some 20 years. But still love to see a game at Kaufman. Been to Arrowhead many times, at least once a year for 20 some years. Douglas says, oh, I don't miss Westport. The parking was atrocious. Dan says, Kansas City seems cooler than Cincinnati. Yeah, Cincinnati? But I've never been there. Mercula says, I'm looking at my old Oklahoma record sleeve right now. Oh,
You have an old Oklahoma record sleeve?
apparently. Fernando says,
Okay.
hard to believe.
Yeah, that's like an almost brand new Mustang.
MH
The
says,
car is 40 years old, 40 something years old, but still almost brand new.
MH says, I always tell people if they need new furniture or appliances, take the drive down to Trust. Will says, that white Mustang will sound awesome with a Flowmaster X-Pipe dual exhaust system.
You would know, right, Will? You have that on your car? The 302 does sound good with the right exhaust on it.
Douglas says, trust will always be true. Pergola says, it was Dad's record. I've got carousel too.
Nice.
Dan says, I started trimming the hedges here,
He can't be without his phone.
and I've only had to splice my extension cord back together once so far. Will says, yes, I do.
Did you wrap electrical tape around it, Dan? Or did you just leave the splice open? I know you know to do that.
MH says, shocking to Danny Boy. And Dan says, I've got Magna Flows on my Fox 5.0.
All you got to do is start up one of these Mustangs with the right exhaust, and everybody knows you're there.
I remember when I was downtown the other day, we were at a parade of some kind. I don't remember which one, but we were at a parade, and there was this Mustang that was trying to show off. He revved his engine and then took off. The person that came down, like, "That's a six-cylinder. Why are you showing off?"
Exactly. Nobody wants to hear a 4 or 6 cylinder.
Were like, "What are you talking about?"
Mm-hmm.
All my non-car friends are like, "What?" And they're like,
You're learning bad. You're learning bad things. You're learning bad things, Mrs. Spec.
Yeah. But if this high look of Spec, and with the drill. Dan says to MH, happened so quick that I didn't pop the breaker. Barracuda says, I'm a big Shirley Jones fan.
We all are, Barracuda.
I don't know who it is, but okay. Dan
You
says,
don't know who Shirley Jones is?
No.
She was the mother on Partridge Family, and she also starred in Oklahoma.
I don't know. Dan says,
This generation, Barracuda, yeah.
Dan says, just like when I did the same thing with my circular song. Mike N is here.
Hey, Mike.
Mike says, electrical tape is good enough.
Of course. Always worked for me.
Fernando says the Capri nose looks better with the notchback roof than this Mustang nose, in my opinion.
It gives it an interesting look, and you probably say that because they didn't make that car in the U.S., so it looks new to you.
Image says, I've never done that, and I get to play with an electric chainsaw from time to time.
Ooh.
Mike says, I have cut my cord while trimming hedges a long time ago. Blaze says, Mike, and Dan says, I twisted the two broken wires together and sealed them with the heat shrink. And then I wrapped that with package tape because I don't think there is any electrical tape here. Because says, and she was in carousel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dr. Spec wants to learn how to drive, and Mr. Spec is refusing to teach him.
I am Mexican Spec.
Mexican Spec is refusing to teach him.
I'm not refusing anything. I don't have a stick shift car here to teach him in.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely going to learn a stick shift.
Dan says,
and he lives 2 hours away from us. It's only 200 kilometers. 2 hours. I make it in 2 hours if I'm in a car. 4 hours in a bus.
Dan
says
it made a pop sound, but it didn't trip the breaker. How much do you want for the charger?
I can't give you that information because I didn't write that down, Steve. I don't put any of those chargers for the most part because they want too much for them for what I think they are.
This conscious won't allow him to offer you that car for that money.
What kind of wheels are those? I've seen those on Rabbits, right? Mm-hmm. And then they color coded them. A Rabbit pickup truck. I don't know why people take the bumpers off. You need, especially in Mexico, you need a big bumper for when somebody runs into you, and they do run into you. If you parallel park on the street, the car in front of you is going to back into you when they take off.
Does Mrs. Spec know about the Padres family? I know about them. I've never seen them.
How could she not when we named our cat after one of the actors? She has to.
I know the actor, like barely. But they kind of fan us here.
Hello, buddy. Thanks for joining us.
But they kind of us a good reason to buy a stick shift car. You see?
He lives 2 hours from me.
That's an excuse you make all the time.
Yes.
You're always making excuses for not teaching people how to drive.
It's kind of hard to teach him how to drive when I don't live in the same city that he lives in.
He's on vacation right now. You could be teaching him right now.
I don't have a car.
Uh-huh.
We just took a video. It's already.
What about the black car?
It's going to come out in the morning.
Is the black car stick shift?
No. It's going to come out in the morning on our black 83 AMC Spirit. There's water coming out the side of the engine, but I can't see where it is. And hopefully somebody that knows more about the engines will be able to tell us.
Pergola says Ruben. Dan says Spec wasn't the Padres family?
No. Our other cat. His name is Danny Bonaducci. He's got the same color hair that Bonaducci has. Yep. And as both of them get older, Bonaducci and the cat, the hair's getting lighter.
Probably says, hope it is not a freeze plug rusting out.
I put the camera down there and I recorded from the side the water dripping, and I saw the freeze plug in the video, and it's not coming from the freeze plug. I think it's coming from higher up between the head and the block. But I can't see it because the intake manifold's in the way. I'm going to have to, the next video, I'm going to have to jack the car up, put it way up on jack stands, and then get under there with a camera. But the water is coming out really fast. I mean, as fast as the water pump pumps it, it's coming out wherever that is. And it's not like I was driving it on the highway and something blew up the side of the block or anything. I drove it really slow to the local gas station here, saw it was leaking, and drove it right back.
Dan says it's a cat addicted to the catnip.
We don't buy catnip for the cats. They're freaked out enough as it is. We don't need to have our cat on drugs.
Dreads. But the girlfriend gets his head casted.
It could be, but it still runs really smooth.
Hercules says my cat's name is Bella Claudette. I won't give her last name for privacy reasons.
Yeah, so we don't steal her social security number or her number and use her credit.
Hercules says get out the El Chipo horse.
For what? I can't get under
Horse
there.
scope.
It's right at the back of the engine, the back corner of the engine. There's not a whole lot of room to get in there.
What's a horse scope?
It's a thing you put down cylinders, or it's got a little camera that you can see around corners and
I
stuff.
don't know what that is.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
But I don't even have an El Cheapo borescope.
It's kind of like what Believe in Yourself had in his ass.
Mm-hmm. Kinda, yeah. MH says Danny Bonaducci was a strange bird. Yes, he was. All the time, but from where he came from, the kind of family he came from, I wouldn't expect anything else.
Yeah. Papa says to look under the manifold, etc.
And he's not the only one that is evidence that redheads have mental problems. He's not the only one. I know a lot of them, and every one of them I'm just going to say they think differently than normal people. Let's go that route.
Thunderbird's here.
Hello, Thunderbird. What's up?
Papa says your son might be able to smuggle you one to use. Slow.
I don't think he has access to the equipment yet. He just finished his third year of medical school. He got A's across the board on all his finals, and next year he's going into his fourth year.
He's saying that he's in the top 20 of the school. Not just the class, but the school.
The school, okay, yeah. In the top, there's another 19 people that got all A's as well. So he's in that mix.
Thunderbird says, "What's up, y'all?" Dan says, "I have an El Cheapo borescope.
I don't think it's gonna help me, Dan.
Can
That's long distance.
Can I borescope you?
Stop hitting me. That's the fourth time you've hit me.
I'm trying to shut you
That's
up.
the fifth time you hit me.
I'm not keep hitting you if you don't shut up. Can I go now? Is it
Yes.
my turn? Can you stop talking for a
Yes.
minute? Okay. Hey Dan, can I borescope your borescope? No? No? It doesn't hit? Okay, fine. Let's keep
Just
going.
borrow.
Yeah, boroscope, your boroscope. Anyway, Balfa says, Thunderbird's here. Thunderbird says, hello, Balfa. So then Andrew says, Danny was a morning DJ at PCOK radio up here in Seattle for a while.
Yeah, he had that, and when Adam Carolla worked with him, he could not deal with the guy. I don't know if Danny was still on drugs at the time or not, but Adam just couldn't deal with him. He walked out of that job. He says, "I'm not coming back."
Ulysses had the number. Balfa says, yep, Boyd, the old 25 Amazon cheap boroscope or something like it. Thunderbird says, I had to leave.
I have to see if our eBay type site has something like that.
Police says, my boss asked me why I'm sick on weekdays only. I said, it must be my weakened immune system.
Weakened immune system.
Barcuda says, the next Prime Minister of Australia will be a red-headed woman. I very much hope.
I hope not. Barracuda, you do not want that for the two reasons, the redhead and the woman. Don't be hitting me anymore.
No te pegué. No estás llorando.
You came close.
I'm going to change your name to Mr. Crybaby.
You came close.
Believe says, whoa, creative drivetrain there. Steven Andrews posts emojis. Thunderbird says, Barry likes redheads. Pablo says, the cheap boroscopes linked to your phone, I think.
Well, that's probably a good idea.
Thunderbird says, what's the difference between these vans and an omnibus?
I don't know what an omnibus is. Isn't that a huge bus that takes like 60 people in it? One of our bus lines here in Mexico is called Omnibus.
Yes. Steven Andrews says, I love rusty babes.
Rusty babes.
Like redheaded.
Does that translates into redhead women?
Yeah.
redheaded women.
Yep.
That I'm taking that you do not have much experience with them because you say you love them. Unfortunately, I do. The girl that my car didn't want me to be with, that didn't like, was a very redheaded girl, and my car was right. She was no good. My car was absolutely correct. My car knew more than I did. But as it ended up, I didn't get with her anyway. So it was all good luck. I like Belinda Carlisle when she has her hair red. Now, a woman that colors her hair red is different than a woman that was born with red hair. A girl that was born with red hair always expects extra attention because of the color of her hair. When she doesn't get it, that's when the evil comes out.
And what about a woman that dyes her hair red?
Dr. Spec is laughing, but that's exactly what happens each and every time.
What about a woman that dyes her hair red?
One that dyes her hair can dye her hair
red,
a different color afterwards, so it doesn't affect her as much. It's not a mental thing from inside.
Thunderbird says, or what's the other Volkswagen van?
All of them are called combis, Thunderbird, but there's a Caravelle that was the passenger vehicle, and then you have panel vans, and there's a whole bunch of different names that people have used all over the world for these vans.
But plus, this red hair is pretty. But a lot of I met, though they were the smartest person in the room.
Yeah, I can see that.
Joshua says, an omnibus is an all-encompassing spending bill. What?
Okay, well, it doesn't have anything to do with a Volkswagen van then.
Buffalo says, the others look like vampires. Fair. Blake says, omnibus bills are perfect for hiding all sorts of things in plain sight. Okay. Robert says, combi. Yes, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, the thing about that word is when Mexico advertised the vans here, they used the C in combi. When Volkswagen Germany advertised their van, they used a K because they spoke German. So in Mexico, the word starts with a C, and we always have to remember that.
So when you're in Mexico and you're looking for combis, you have to look for them with a C, with a K, with a Q.
Whatever.
Just whatever.
You should see what people misspell their own vehicles. They don't. It has the name right on the side of the vehicle. Fairmont. They spell it Fermon. They don't even bother with the T. That's how they spell their car.
The number says, "Where's Dean?"
That's a good question.
I don't know, darling.
Maybe he's finishing watching the football game.
Just a reminder, Dr. Spec is here, so if you have any issues with your health, he can help you.
Not really.
Anyway, says, when I was little in the late 60s, early 70s, Renault didn't have their act together enough to have a dealership, so they sold them out of the mall parking lot.
They probably didn't want the extra expense of the building.
That's kind of what Hyundai was doing here, or is doing here, because they didn't ever change. Hyundai had plans to have a big dealership next to Kia, and but they were thinking of building it, and while they were working on that, they went to a parking a mall and bought just one lot, and they were doing it.
There's like a strip mall where Walmart is, and they rented or whatever one of the little areas, and they have 3 cars inside of like a store, and that's where they sell Hyundais out of. That's all they have.
What number is the Tuscan van? Steven Andrews says, "Ooh, 64 New Yorker."
I think it's a 63 though.
That's a Thunderbird Salem Mile in Dayton, Ohio. Pablo says, I thought an omnibus was a huge all-in-on-one encyclopedia book. We had one of those omnibooks in our house growing up. Raguda says, I was just thinking we're seeing and Tavo.
We haven't seen Tavo in a while.
We did.
We need to find somebody with a phone number and give them a call.
We did seek Dean on a search for Tavo.
Yeah, I talked to Dean in another live, and he said he didn't have the phone number.
Mm-hmm. The number says, yes, I have a health question about a third nipple.
That's, that never happens. No, you liar.
Some people do have third nipples. A vestige nipple, something like that.
Vestigial.
Vestigial, yeah.
Not necessary, but yeah, you can call it
Well, says, I think it had 4,000 pages or so.
Wow.
Dan says, Omnibus was the first Dutch minivan. Image says, from Merriam-Webster, the noun omnibus originated in the 1920s.
1820s.
1820s. As a French word for long, horse-drawn vehicles that transported people along the main thoroughfares of Paris. Josh Woman says, that car belongs in a toy box.
It's about that size.
Well, says about 5 inches thick.
Mm,
Dan says, omnibus equals or
greater than.
greater than canvas. Andrew says 64.
Is it a 64? The grill says it's a 64 because I didn't get a shot of the rear, and they had it advertised as a 62, and I know it's not a 62.
MH says the Who should have done the omnibus instead. I don't know their music, so I wouldn't know. Dan says Three Log Mafia.
I don't want to be in the Three Log Mafia.
Dan says I don't want to cause no fuss.
That's usually not true, Dan.
For good says Christopher Lee had three nipples for a while. And Thunderbird says I get my medical knowledge watching chubby emo videos. Chubby emo.
What is that, Thunderbird? Is that a very fat animal? Or is that a YouTube channel?
That's what I was asking.
Because emus can be fat. There's nothing saying they can't be.
I mean, their legs.
Well, not fat, but sorry, chubby. Could be. Will? Are you watching the Fairmont wagons? You have to choose which one you like better. The red one, the blue one. This one is a Squire, so it has the wood. You said you didn't want wood.
Thunderbird says I love these Fairmont wagons. It's a YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
Dan says nice bump side in the background.
Who's watching the bump side when there's a Fairmont right in the front?
Dan. Obviously.
Would you just love to drive that car? Look how nice that interior is. It's nice for everybody.
Papa says I need to find my rock tumbler so I can polish up this load of pyrite and other stones I've got.
I remember those from the 70s.
Fernando says I had a 64. If you do a viewer picture like live, like buff, I will find pics.
I don't know if we can. We use the same thing, but my car was a 63, but it was a Chrysler 300 pace setter, and it had the cross grill. But I know that the 63 and 64 New Yorkers have that similar grill with it. You have to push in part of the grill to get the hood open. But I didn't get to see the back of the car to see if it had the round tail lights or the more diamond-shaped tail lights.
Dan says I'd rather have the Futura for these, but these are okay.
No, these are better than the Futura. These have more headroom. They're more comfortable. Much better.
Oh.
Thunderbird for Thunderbird. This is obviously an imported car because we didn't sell these here. And there's one headlight behind that headlight door, like that big.
Image says I had a 65 300 and New Yorker.
A 65 300.
And a New Yorker.
The 68 had the covered headlights.
Lovely says Flybaby needs to learn more about jewelry, so she isn't stuck on diamonds being the only thing a man can offer. Yes, I agree. I love amethyst and also emeralds. Well, sapphires really.
And she likes silver.
Yeah, I rather like have that silver than gold. Thunderbird says, "Do you folks think the junkyard fires are coincidence or something sinister?"
I don't think it's a coincidence. Something is going on. It's really weird that so many junkyards with so many old cars are being burned. It's just really odd.
Mm-hmm.
What's left, the prices are going to be so outrageous, nobody's going to be able to afford anything.
Dan says, "I think my dream long roof might be a 1960s Buick Sport Wagon with the Vista roof."
What year, Dan?
Thunder,
66, 67, or 68, 69?
Thunderbird says, "Ooh, I do like the big birds too."
It just needs a few adjustments under the hood to make it drive better.
Steven Andrews says, "63 had a straight front bumper. 64 had a gold wing bumper."
On all models?
Thunderbird says, "Find a girl that's really into sandstone." Um, the Butler says, "There are so many other non-precious stones that look so much better, like fire opal, silver is good, yeah."
Hmm. I can afford silver, so I'm happy with my wife.
Dean Stevenson is here.
Hey, Dean.
Hey, Dean, we're talking about you.
Yeah, we were.
Hey,
Did
Stray Bullet's also
did
here.
you watch the game, Dean? Hey, Stray Bullet.
Hey,
We can see you.
hey Stray Bullet. Were you watching the game? Dean says, like, 11.5 has afflicted the Mexican specter life. Beware of the PP, husky, half-cut kiwi. The other kiwis, they are, however, alright. Stray Bullet says, "Hi, Spec family. Hi, everybody."
Told you so.
Dan says, "Yeah, these T-birds
Try to
and
understand what Dean says.
sorry, dances. Yeah, these
Beans,
T-birds
beans.
and the Fox ones, 80 to 82, are about the only car I can think of with covered single headlights."
Yep,
The number says Auto Stray Bullet, also believe. Pablo says, "I really like the looks on the 68 Buick Sport Wagon."
that's the one I had in blue. It had a little bit of damage on it, but I got it cheap, so I bought any car that was cheap. Running, driving, no problem. Good car.
You know you like me?
Yes.
Thunderbird says, "I just bought some plug covers. Happy to see made in Mexico. Almost emailed you a picture." You should.
Plug covers, like plug wires.
Bergula says, "The Dean and I." Dan says 66, 69. I think they made them in 64 and 65 too. Not sure if they still had, sorry, the Vista roof for 1970 and
No,
later.
1970 they did not when they changed the body style. No.
Dan says 70 to 72. Dan says, "I love the 68 and 69 Skylars. Racy yet elegant."
And that rear bumper is an interesting design because when it came out of the factory, it looked like it had been rear-ended because it wasn't straight across. It kind of went in the middle, and then one year had a little reverse light in the bumper on top of the reverse lights it already had. Then the other year didn't. So it's like they're switching things around. Really odd. Like they were experimenting with a center reverse light or something.
Dan says 66 to 69 are my
What?
favorite A-bodies GMs. There you go. I made it. The number says exterior plug covers to keep water and such away from the outlet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Dan says old retainer the Vista roof throughout 1972.
Yep.
Though, yes. I know English sometimes. But the Carafano says I have a 68 Skylar convertible.
Nice. What color combination is it, buddy? And by the way, Dr. Spec, if you and I go on a trip to go get a car, you're going to be the one reading these comments to me in the car.
Oh man.
¿Por qué no prendes tú? ¿Tienes el wifi de aquí?
Yes.
Pon YouTube y let's un comment y que otro comment y así. Para que te vayas acostumbrando. Ándale.
It's called practice.
Ponle el YouTube.
No,
Ándale.
I'm tired.
Sí, yo también.
We're always tired.
Ándale.
No.
¿Dónde iba yo? No me perdí. ¿Voy de Carafano? Sí. Believe says, my favorite plane won't fly. It's completely stationary. Thunderbird says, so scrap aluminum is 90 cents a pound here. For as long as I can remember, it's never gotten over 60 cents.
Everything's going up.
Kim Fixes Things is here,
Hello, Kim.
and they say hello from Utah.
Say hello to Kim.
Hello, Kim.
Dr. Spec is here with us.
Hello, Kim.
Ándale, pon el YouTube. No te voy a dejar en paz. Quita el celular.
Dan says, I knew a fool 20 years ago who cut off the roof of a 68 or 69 sport wagon, and it was rally green too. Why would he cut off the best part of the car?
What fooled you then?
Kim, you're not green anymore. Oh, jeez. Yours. Sorry.
Wait.
Sorry, guys. I got
Hold on.
pill taking time.
Yeah. It's halftime for those that like the sports. Nobody watched the game. You guys are not soccer people likers. Anyway, MH says 1987 bought a 72 Cutlass for $125 in St. Paul. Total rust bucket. Pieces fell off the car going over railroad tracks. Needed piece of sheet metal to slide under the carpet. Wow. Papa says, say it isn't so. Policarpano says yellow, black top, and interior. Oh, the Skylark. ¿Por qué se puso oscuro mi pantalla? Dan says, 4 years ago, that fool cut that roof off. 1986. I was against it then, too. Dan says, Garfano, buckets, console? Kim says, hello, doctor. Oh, hello, doctor. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm a doctor.
Thunderbird says, Dr. Spec, what are you hoping to specialize in? Or are you going to be a general practitioner? No tienes que gritar, el micrófono lo agarra. Ándale.
I know. I want to be an internal medicine, just like the Doctor House, or I don't know what it's called right there, but here it's internal medicine.
Yeah, internal medicine.
So that's it.
No me lo robes. Es mío.
I'm in the middle. I have to have the microphone.
Wait. So MH says in 1987 bought a 72 Cutlass for $125 in St. Paul. Total brass bucket. Pieces fell off the car going over railroad tracks. Needed piece of sheet metal to slide under the carpet. Now to answer Bodegrafano, this says I have a 68 Scala convertible. He says yellow, black top, and interior.
Ooh, very nice. The light yellow, the butternut yellow.
Dan says Dan asked about the Carfano bucket or console.
Buckets and console.
Bucket slash console.
Mm-hmm.
And Buddy Carfano says yes, bucket and console. It's a GS 400. Dan says what game? The World Cup FIFA. It was New Zealand versus Egypt.
Egypt.
Basla is not a sports fan. Senator says not a sports fan either, just cars for me. Basla says be right back. Mitch says I'm not a car guy, but have been enjoying this slideshow. Brings back memories.
Nice.
Dan says Body Carfano, that's awesome. My buddy had a 67 GS 400 convertible with a bench and a 4-speed. It was green, but they painted it butternut yellow, black top and brownish interior.
I can picture the 68 in butternut yellow.
Oh, Jesus.
An elegant color.
Dan says he outran the North College Hill police in it back in the late 70s, early 80s. His younger brother keeps it now.
What good does it do to outrun the college police when it's a unique car and everybody knows who owns it?
Fair. Joe says my grandparents had one of those Chryslers.
I only put this in here. It's an automatic. I would never offer it for sale because of how nice the interior is. The exterior black looks pretty good, but the interior is absolutely gorgeous in this thing. And this is what Chrysler did. They made mediocre cars, but put such plush interiors in it that you could not.
Say no to it.
Yeah, you couldn't say no to the car. Look how comfortable that car is to drive, assuming the transmission still worked.
But this is how much for the hat.
$29.95 today only. $29.95 without shipping. Shipping's extra. Shipping and handling allow 6 weeks for delivery. Look at the back seat. No, that's the front seat. Look how comfortable that is. Jeez, and that's leather.
Thunderbird says Dr. Spec even considered
Ever
considered functional medicine, what we call it here. Basically, it's doctors who explore alternative treatments for different non-life threatening conditions, not covered by healthcare.
I don't think so.
No sé qué es eso.
No.
No tienes que.
That's fair.
No, thanks. I don't want to be poor. No, thank you.
Well, you're not going to make a whole lot of money in Mexico anyway.
So humble. Oh my god. Just like his daddy. Dan says it wasn't so unique 45 to 50 years ago. There were tons of old A bodies still on the road.
Not in the color combination you described.
Dan says, believe me, you get a bowl of soup with it. With the hat.
Or you get a bowl of soup served in the hat.
Fair. Joshua says, my grandparents had a Chrysler, Fifth Avenue, New Yorker. Chrysler. Grandparents had Chrysler, Fifth Avenue, New Yorker, Salon, and Town and County. I always call it Town and County.
It is country.
Yeah, but I don't know why you call it Town and County.
I don't either.
Policarofano says, new car seats will never be as comfortable.
No.
No.
You can see in this picture the driver's seat has a little bit more wear. The buttons in the passenger seat are pulled down more, so it had less use. This car here is a Mexican car, even though it doesn't look like it. They were really proud of the fact that it had a V8 under the hood because most of these had 6 cylinders. So they put V8 right on the front of the fender there on both sides. You're going to see a close-up picture here of it. They were so proud being a Chevrolet with a V8 under the hood. They wanted everybody to know in big letters.
Butterfly wants soup in a bread bowl. I would like to try that. Silver says, well, functional medicine doctors make whatever they want to charge. My wife works for one. Sorry. My wife works for one. She charges a lot with very good track records. Butterfly is plotting his next gluten raid. Yeah, whenever Mr. Mexican Spike is not here, I order pizza.
Yeah, I can't even be in the house with that.
Yeah. Triple says Dr. Spec can come to America to practice medicine. We always need doctors, landscapers, and roofers. Not so much. Then it says the car was green back then. It was at night. The cop was in a Fairmont, and he got out of that city and into Cincinnati. Within a few minutes. He's sure they couldn't get his number.
Well, being in a Fairmont answers it because it was probably a Pinto engine in that thing. So I can understand why he couldn't keep up.
Barrica says, I don't mind women's tennis. Barrica says, hope it doesn't turn into a dunk.
A donk, you mean?
What's
Not
that?
here it won't. That's not a thing here. Nobody's going to pay hundreds of thousands of pesos for the wheels to make a car look stupid here.
I mean, it's women's hockey. Dan says, my mom makes a killer vegetable soup. I haven't
You want to clarify that, Dan? How many people has your mom's soup killed?
I haven't made potato soup in a while.
He did capitalize killer. So, could go either way. It is a nice looking car.
It is.
The owner doesn't even know what year it is. He advertised it as a 71. It's obviously a 74. You know, you got to wonder when somebody advertises a car like this, the year of the car is on the documents that they have. Why can't they just look at the documents they have to see what they're publishing? I mean, come on.
Bubba says, I was thinking broccoli and cheese soup in a bread bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I have to buy a ticket for Kansas City so I can visit Waffle and have broccoli and cheese in a bread bowl.
You
That's
better eat it fast though, because the bread doesn't last forever. It starts soaking up the
I know.
stuff.
That's probably a 302 in the Fairmont, but a lowly to be non HO 302 100
Dan, I
is a
seriously
car.
doubt that because when it was security companies and stuff like that, they bought the car that got the best mileage, not the fastest car. Police departments did something like that too. So, no. Look at all the Fairmonts that were in ET. None of those were a V8. None. Government cars.
I believe this chili in a bread bowl sounds tasty. Yeah, bread bowl is tasty. It sounds like it. The number says Mexican employment opportunities. Number one, cartel. Number two, concrete and landscape. Three, roofer. Four, doctor. Over there maybe.
There's a lot more than that, Thunderbird.
Over there maybe.
I don't think so.
Dan says barfly. That sounds good. It could go okay in a baked potato too. Oh, baked potato.
Twice baked, I like that.
Barbuda says I used to play underwater polo until my horse drowned.
That's rude. Did
Aww,
you at least eat the
poor
horse?
horse.
How would you get the horse out of the water?
They swim.
Not if the horse is dead.
Fair.
They're very heavy.
Dances the Thunderbird auto upholstery. Barbuda says clam chowder is good in a sourdough bowl. I've never tried sourdough.
You
Miss,
might like it. I'm not a
Mrs.
fan.
Mrs. Spec likes clam chowder. Barbuda says I'm making baked potatoes right now.
They don't even have potatoes here that I can make a baked potato with
Will
that I
it?
like.
Will Literal says that 81 Ford Fairmont wagon is a nice car.
Which color? I don't think the wagons have come up. I have a red one and a blue one here. You're talking about the one with the wood on the side?
Dan has
What?
never seen ET.
How dare you?
Believe says I saw ET and I drive it.
Yeah.
Dan says never even watched the TV show either.
Well, I can understand that. You don't want to see that.
Buffalo says any soup or stuffing in a bread bowl definitely has to do the trick. To be trick. Thick.
To be
Sorry.
thick.
Sorry. But Stray Bully says that wasn't a very good horse anyway, Barry. Bully Carafana says a working parts store. It's amazing how many people don't know year or make of car they drive.
Well, buddy, it's harder these days when they make the same car for 7 years at a time to know the year model and everything else. So, and they all look alike anyway.
Hey, buddy, the people just showed up and said, I have a Honda and I need this. And you're like, what year? And they were like, it's a white one. That will help. The number says homemade. Oh, wait. Homemade 3-day fermented sourdough is the bomb.
Mm.
Well, the truth says it's the brown one with the wood.
Mm. That is a nice car. The interior. Oh, sorry. The interior is really nice.
Papa says the red potatoes are good fried in a skillet with butter and rosemary. Joshua says giant car with a giant engine.
8.2 liter is what Cadillac put on there when nobody was using liters. It was way ahead of its time.
Dan says this, I'm assuming is El Dorado, has the second door handle on the passenger side. So the rear seat passenger can open the door.
Yes, it does. You don't want to trap that person in the back seat. Cadillac people have courtesy.
MH says so very good. Have you tried seahorses?
I think they're a little small.
Tribble says sourdough is one of the best breads, second only to pumpernickel rye. Dan says I love bread too much. Mitch says I always have sourdough started on hand. Regula says the only movie I ever saw at a drive-in was Bird on a Wire. Thunderbird says I tried something new. You know those fries that have some skin on them? Or fry them in butter. You're welcome.
So you just cut a potato and then leave the skin on?
Mm-hmm. Pablo says I used to make sourdough pancakes and waffles. They were awesome.
I can't imagine what that tasted like. Sourdough pancakes?
Image says not always, but I'll use this card for pancakes.
Okay.
I never tried it, so I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know. I don't know what's in it. I'm eating a Milky Way, guys. If my words sound different.
Barracuda says, I haven't tried seahorses, but I like salted squirrel face. Salted squirrel faces? What the hell is that?
Barracuda is getting into his weird food stuff now.
Barracuda, I'm eating. Stop it. Tribble says, whoa, that's a nice Z.
Yeah, it's pretty nice for a car in Mexico.
Dan says, I love pancake and waffles more as vehicles for syrup. Tribble says, 240.
280, a 78 280Z,
Ooh. Then it was
which is
his,
not really the one that anybody looks for.
Dan agrees to with Tribble. It really is. Image says, real butter and real syrup. Processed by the Canadian robot lady. What's the Canadian robot lady? Tribble says, is that a C an import to Mexico?
Yeah, somebody brought it in over the years. Don't know how long it's been here. I haven't run the plate on it.
Fernando says, okay, is this a food program now? It could be, It very well could be.
Everybody talks about food on these lives. Everybody, every time. We can't stop it.
Nah.
It helps us though. I mean, we have pork chops in the refrigerator that Firefly told us how to deal with. So we're gonna try those tomorrow, see how they taste. So I guess I'm back to eating 5 pork chops, and Mrs. Spec gets 1.
Mm-hmm. Dan says, there was another one of these in front of that rabbit pickup you showed earlier. The number says, what does everyone do for work? I'm trying to see if a certain trade slash occupations lend themselves to attracting car people or vice versa.
I sell cars, Thunderbird,
Straight bullet says with carburetors.
and car parts.
With carburetors? Dan says to MH, does she do that? Fernando says, cute Volkswagen, not much payload capacity.
It's a Volkswagen, Steve. How much payload capacity do you think it would ever have?
Bafla says, let me see. 1 cup sourdough starter, 2 cups flour, a quarter teaspoon baking soda, 1 teaspoon sugar, 1 cup water or milk. Mix and let rise for 15 to 20 minutes, then start cooking. Bafla says, pancakes. Emir
I
says,
don't know what sourdough starter is. Never seen it before.
It's kind of like yogurt. You have to keep the fermented. Anyway, Emir says, what you ask? Emir says, low. Not that I avoid. I know she paints cars. That says to MH, CRL paints cars? Wiltro says that Datsun would have been perfect to swap in a years, matching a Nissan Y44 V8 engine in order to keep it Nissan powered. Robert says, speaking of food, whipping butter with real maple syrup, spreading a poppy seed muffin. Triple says, that's a pretty cool bug.
Somebody did a lot of work on that thing actually to make it look like that. Most of the conversions like that do not look like that.
MH says, you didn't know? Dan, I think it's on her channel.
Canadian Robot Lady is the lady that you hear at the end of Steve Leto's videos saying that whatever she says.
Margola says, I got the squirrel faces thing earlier today watching a Tom Papa stand up show. He was talking about things you can buy in Chinatown.
Mm.
Bobby Carfano says, every time I watch your live, I want a hot dog.
The kind of hot dog that we get here or the kind of hot dog you get over there?
Dan says to MH, I didn't know she had one. I'll check it out. Chevrolet says 280C came with fuel injection.
Originally, yes, but they fail over time. Badly.
MH says she hardly ever paused a post. Then I think she painted her car with a brush. With a brush. Chevrolet says sourdough starter is just dough pretty much.
But probably has gluten.
Obviously.
There was a shop in Las Vegas that only worked on inline six Datsun Nissan engines, the ones that came in the Z cars and in the Maximas, and they were always full to the brim with cars to work on. That's got to tell you something about those cars.
Dances to MH. Roller. I had no idea. Like the same my idiot Mustang GT convertible. Looked awesome 50 years ago. Now not so much. Image says, not just those Red Bullet, it's a living thing. Some starters are over 150 years old. Red Bullet says,
We
or
don't have it here.
Bless you.
Salud.
Thank you.
Triple says, or an LS engine wheel. Believe says, I am getting stronger with age. I can now lift $100 of groceries with one hand.
Yes. That's about what we spend at the store. Actually, that's about what we spend every week at the supermarket and then our little store over here. That's about what it's coming out to be.
Yeah.
About 1,700 pesos a week.
Chocolate says sourdough is all about the gluten. Yep.
And then we have to add in the chicken. That doesn't even include the chicken.
The number says there's something called a snicker dog. Snicker bar is in a hot dog bun, battered and deep fried.
That sounds like a heart attack waiting to happen.
Yep. MH says you do have to stretch the gluten when making sourdough bread. Dan says Thunderbird sounds like Mudley.
But we just avoid the gluten altogether.
Okay.
Okay, so now I told the guy on these vans about the painting. We can do the painting here. He's like, just find me a van. I'll worry about the painting later.
Okay.
He says 95 and up. So now I have to make him a list. Yeah. Yeah, now I have to make him a list. Would you want to drive across Mexico in one of those vans with me? Those Volkswagen vans there? That's on the screen right there.
Pablo says you, but I don't know to what.
Because we're sitting in front of the wheels. We're right at the front of the van going down the highway.
That's not dangerous?
Of course it's dangerous. But that's what hippies like. That's why they like them.
That's the fun part.
Yeah, that's.
I'm a doctor, not a magician. If you die, I can revive you. No.
I'm a doctor, not a musician.
Stray Bullet says gold miners will carry their starter around with them. MH, it was very important to them. Thunderbird says anyone tried deep fried pickles or ice cream? It's a thing. I have tried deep fried ice cream thing. It was ice cream, but it was covered in some kind of bread or something, and you deep fried the bread and the ice cream inside. Um,
How does the ice cream not melt and come out?
because you put it in the freezer, you put the whole thing in the freezer, and you immediately, well, like when it's frozen, you immediately take it out from the and it's already good. Anyway,
That sounds like a southern United States thing at fairs and carnivals. Does not sound like a Mexican thing.
Buffalo says not deep fried twinkles or candy bars for me.
Twinkies.
Twinkies, sorry. Image says I know that's how it got to Alaska triple. Buffalo says I'll take the fried mushrooms instead. Yep. Bergola says I have a special pate recipe. Ooh. The number says this looks like a good starter car.
You like stick shift Chevy Celebrities, Thunderbird?
Buffalo says hey.
I could get one with a better color.
Buffalo says hey, let's do one celebrity.
You had an orange Celebrity with red interior?
Dan says,
why do I find that hard to believe, Vilefly?
Dan says I once rode my bike 2 miles to AutoZone with my starter in a backpack to exchange it when I was still in my 20s.
You do what you have to do to get your car going.
Oh,
What?
I thought he was talking about starter as in the sourdough starter.
No, it's the starter from his vehicle.
I was like, why would you really get a starter so shit?
See,
your brand.
Dan is changing the subject to auto parts because we're a car channel. And you were still thinking about food.
I'm sorry that Baba's celebrities were unkillable.
That's for sure.
Except
for Rust and Radiator. Mine overheated.
Baba says, I've had the deep fried ice cream before. Yeah, I didn't like it. Baba says, carnival food. Bleh. The number says, if anyone wants to trip hard on a food journey, watch the Larry and the Cable Guy video from the Texas State Fair.
Oh, jeez, no.
Baba says, not orange. It was
Hi-Ho Silver. I remember those silver celebrities. I had a white Eurosport here. It was an 87 model. I think it was an 87 model. Just like the ones that were brand new on the lot when I worked there. So I was very familiar with the car. And the car served me well. There's no problems with those cars. Very dependable. People look down on them, but they're very dependable cars.
Image says alternator died on a desert road in Utah. Utah.
Utah.
Best hitchhiking experience ever. Within a couple minutes, car stopped offering take me into town. But alternator stoplight didn't even cycle once.
How did you get the car started? Because with a dead battery, you can replace the alternator. You still have to charge the battery.
Barracuda says, how about right maggots? No, but here in Mexico, we do tend to have like bugs, specifically crickets. I've never tried them though. I've never been to the area that they have them. But yeah,
We went over MH. We did that when I drove a car north with Dr. Spec's mother with me. She accompanied me to the border, and the alternator went out in the car. So we were racing to get to the hotel before the car completely died. I got into the hotel parking lot, put it into a space, and that's as far as it went. So the next morning we had to go, took the alternator off, took it to the repair place, and also took the battery with us so they could charge it. They rebuilt the alternator. It took them about 15 minutes, but we still had to wait on the charging of the battery, and then I had to put the alternator back in. But just replacing the alternator isn't going to bring the battery back.
make sure it says, and I got right back to my car. Firefly shuddering about the maggots, I think. Rebel says, the galaxy is nice.
Look at the interior is impressive.
You don't even smell like roaches or nothing. Thunder versus Dan, I used to do that too, only to Napa, and I was a teen. Went one time with a friend. He later ended up in jail for aggravated assault. Well, Rebel says, why doesn't someone buy that?
Good question.
Yami says, believe it or not, just as I was tightening the last bolt, another car stopped asking if I needed help. Got the jump.
Nice.
Jennifer says, I like this blue car.
It sure is clean though, isn't it, for a Nova? Some people here really take care of their cars. It's got Malibu wheel covers on it, which is odd, but still, a Nova 4 door, the most dependable car. Why does it have fender skirts in the back? Please don't put those on. Fender skirts. Look like fender skirts anyway. One of the most dependable cars you'll ever drive with the inline six. This car will never die. Never, never, never die.
But says, I'm picturing just married on the back of this car. Then says, no, but if the battery sits overnight without a drain, it might have come back enough to start the car. Once the new alternator was installed, and then you're home free.
That depends what car it is. Like, for example, in 87, the Chevrolets on the lot, the batteries would die all the time on the Cavaliers, the Celebrity, stuff like that. I could jump the battery, but if there's not enough charge in the battery to tell the computer to tell the alternator to charge the battery, it isn't going to do any good. Nothing gets charged. So I had to pay attention to that. What I would do is I left the cars running on the lot to charge the batteries, I would put one of the turn signals on. So if the car stopped running, the turn signal would stop running, stop flashing, and I would know that I'd had to go back out there and do something with that thing.
They believe this. We were at a campsite in a national forest when a Ford pickup with a National Park Service drove by. My wife said, that must be their park ranger. I said, no, too big. That's the park. That's the park F-150.
I bet she didn't understand the joke.
Dan says Mexican Novas used the Apollo hood and grill headed.
No, that's not Apollo. That is Skylark. Look it up.
Thunderbird says, did anyone
You
actually
going to bed?
actually
Where are you going to bed? Dr. Spec is giving up, so say goodbye to him, everybody.
Thunderbird says, did anyone actually do a just married sign? We did got lots of happy honks and waves on the road trip. Left it on the truck for a couple of days. Amish says, it turned a nightmare into just a bad afternoon. Sunny boy walking along that road like it was Bob Hope movie. Animal skeletons just bleaching in the sun.
Way out in the desert.
Pablo says the clocks on the radios is what drains the batteries in the 80s. Thunderbird says to MH, is that experience with why do you don't like cars? Pablo says Nissans were the worst Oh, what training that is.
I didn't work at a Nissan dealer. I worked at a Chevy dealer, and we had all kinds of problems in Cavaliers and celebrities and cars like that. But we had 300 cars on the lot, so crap is bound to happen. Everybody's saying goodbye to you, Dr. Spec.
Goodbye.
Belly Carafano says side post batteries make it harder to jump start.
Yep. And Stray Bullet says buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
So does Stephen Andrews, number one.
Gan says that is pretty lucky image. Dan says good night. That's what the fuck is this?
Exactly.
I'm guessing
You can draw your own conclusions.
I'm guessing it's Shrek.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7 passenger truck.
Sunriver says that is one funky Suburban. I kind of like it. Pitts Custom Car Shop is here.
Hello, Pete. Thanks for joining us tonight. How was your Father's Day?
It says I'm late, but I just wanted to stop in and say hi and say hello. Barbara says just pull the radio fuse on the 80s, 90s GM. Sunriver says is this Shrek Suburban? That's what I was thinking.
Could be.
She says somebody ruined that Suburban. And Mitch says, not at all, Thunderbird. I don't hate cars. I was just never an enthusiast. I did drive cab for 33 years. Well, so I know something about cars. Joanna says, oh, okay, some imagination on this Suburban.
Somebody customized it.
It says, hey, the Dean. Oh, so that's sorry, Dan. I believe says, electricians have to strip to make ends meet. Strip? Oh, yes.
Strip the wires, yes.
Yes. I believe says, hit feet. And just one says, new vehicle and an old shell. The boy says, I'll pay 2,500 for that Suburban.
I'll relay the message, Stray Bullet.
It says, hey, Mexican, it was a relaxing day for me.
Nice.
Papa says, crazy dash on the Mercedes. Dan says, non electricians non-electricians can use a light in the street wire. Barracuda says, I've seen for sale remote operated battery terminal disconnectors.
Why would you want to complicate a car with all of that kind of stuff? Just go out and disconnect the battery yourself.
Could it work as a uh, like a prevention for car theft?
What are all those emojis for
Um,
Dr. Spec? What's the first one?
it's a bed,
A bed. Okay.
specs, and a candle.
Okay. Something about going to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Joshua says, this car is the stuff of tin pot dictator springs. You didn't answer my question.
What was your question?
Could it work for theft prevention?
Yes. But then it disconnects everything else in the car, which is in the newer cars. It's all of the computers and stuff.
So was this cash money missing?
I don't deal in cash money, Stray Bullet.
Jennifer says, what's the hardest part of being an electrician? Not gonna tap? Blue says, I immediately woke up my puppy when he started mumbling in his dream about the earth being flat. I don't let sleeping dogs fly.
Shaking my head, believe. Shaking my head. Hey, Dr. Spec made it a whole hour.
Dean says, left hand side sleeping in bed does affect being watched by a lot.
No, Dr. Spec plays with phone. That's what Dr. Spec does.
Dan says the three most important things in electric are tight connection, and tight connection. Barracuda says, not naughty words to dating. No, he's been behaving.
Are you prompting him, Barry, to say naughty words?
He and Mr. Spec haven't behaving.
I just haven't been thinking of it, but since Barry brought it up, now I'm thinking of it. We have naughty words in two languages.
Thunderbird says, "Good night, everyone. Gotta wake up early at 5 a.m. Heading up to northern Saskatchewan to work on a cabin for a teen camp.
Good night, Thunderbird.
Thank you for being here."
What she said.
Impecable.
That's what it says. That's what the owner says. It's still a Renault, but it is a Renault station wagon. So
Dean, why don't you buy that Galaxy convertible, Dean? I can see you driving it with the wind whipping through your hair right now. Amir says, "Tune into CGME, Thunderbird." Everyone says, "Good night, Thunderbird." Thunderbird says, "CGME."
JCJME.
JM. Papa says, "Later, Thunderbird. Watch out for Jason." Jason? Oh, the captain. Never mind.
Mm-hmm. He's telling you, Thunderbird, to bring weapons with you. Because the guy may not be named Jason, but there'll be somebody up there.
Amir says, "The station in Regina." This is nipple confusion. George Command says, "Strange wheels."
Those are the Renault wheels that they came with. They look really weird spinning around, though. He made a big what? It can't. There's 3 dashes there. Three dashes, so it couldn't be that.
Thunderbird says, "Check it out. I'm going to Uranium City."
Isn't that where the Iranian people want to go?
I don't know, babes.
To Uranium City. The wheels look like radio knobs. You ate the whole thing?
Yep.
Wow.
It wasn't that much. It was 63 grams. I think it was boobs.
Well, there was an extra dash in there, Dean.
You got excited.
And Major says, "They're my break from American news, Thunderbird. I have it set for them to come on in the morning." And do you hear any better news on the Canadian station?
Liv says, "Why do horses have low divorce rates? Stable relationships."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do we have stable relationships?
Yes, we have a stable relationship.
Can I have my hay now?
No, that's morning time thing. But they're not always in the stable now, are they? Enriched plutonium city. Even address too.
Trouble is the warning light is on.
Maybe it wasn't running.
It says 3 abreast, like a Matra, Morena, or Bagheera. Bagheera? Confused.
I don't think that message was for us. Now, this very special 1988 Ford panel truck could be painted any color you want to look nice. Very easy. I've never seen one that looks like this before from 1988. The company name could be painted right on the side of the truck and call it a write off. Tax deduction.
MH says if they're not on the stable, they're out horsing around.
They are.
Trouble says I could tell by the tachometer that it was running.
Was it running? Or was the tachometer stuck in that position? It
Mm-hmm.
is a Renault after all.
So this is Murphy's Law states that what can go wrong will go wrong. But have you heard of coleslaw? It's thinly sliced cabbage with mayo. Pablo says, okay, time for bed.
Okay, Firefly.
Thank you for
Thanks for
joining
being
us.
here. I'll let you know about the pork chops, how soft they are and how good they are. I guess I'm not going to need to put ketchup on them this time. We'll see. We'll see if it passes the test.
Pizza's good night, Firefly. Yes. Josh says, yes, I've heard of coleslaw. Not my thing.
Me either.
Papa says, go to work tomorrow. Good night, all.
I got to work tomorrow too and stuff I don't want to do. I don't have a choice. Ooh, Firefly says no ketchup. Ooh, I haven't had ketchup on anything in the house. I haven't touched the ketchup package in weeks and weeks. I hope it's still good.
Will says, do you agree with law enforcement crushing street racer cars?
No. Why are they blaming the car? That's stupidity.
Mitch says, three breasts like three Texas RVs coming down from the Eisenhower Tunnel on I-70 in a snowstorm.
Be weird.
George Sherman says, yes, that's the thing in Britain. Stable says, that's gross. Ketchup?
You don't like ketchup, straight bullet?
Body Carofano. Did you have to Body Carofano? Yeah, please.
Mhm.
Yeah, Body Carofano says, need mashed potatoes to go with the pork chops. I do have it.
Yes, but they're not. They're not potatoes. Potatoes. They're going to be instant mashed
And
potatoes.
so much.
Don't tell John Wilburn though,
George
because we
Sherman,
just don't have decent potatoes here where we are.
George Sherman says, in certain other countries as well, where street racing is out of hand.
But they're punishing the car, and they're instead of selling the car to somebody else and making money. You dropping? It's kind of dumb to blame the car for what the owner is doing.
Stribble says, barbecue sauce is good on pork chops though. Stribble says, not on pork chops. What? Pergola says, tomato sauce. Image says, I live off a street racing corridor. I think crushing is a waste.
Dumb. You know the kind of people that are in government that think like that. But you get, people that get into power in government, they're they think they're the parents and the public are children, and they're going to treat the public like they're going to punish the children. We're going to take this away and we're going to destroy it. That's the kind of thinking it is. Just ridiculous. Another Datsun 210. Imagine that. This one being a hatchback. Somebody went crazy with this color paint, but that can be fixed.
How are you feeling?
Okay. Why?
Checking.
MH says, I have no sympathy for street racers. The street racers put them in jail, but you don't punish the cars for what the owners do with them. Cars had nothing to do with it. And you're talking about probably $50,000 Hellcats and stuff that the city or the state can sell again and collect the money. They're just cutting off their nose to spite their face. It's just stupidity. So go back to the comments.
Believe says, my wife asked me if I wanted to do lunch at the Vietnamese restaurant on the beach. I said, for sure.
Do I have to know about Vietnamese food to know that joke?
Pho is soup, I believe. I don't know what shore is.
I am not culinarily adventurous. I eat what I know what it is because I have to. So I'm not eating any of that. We have what is supposedly a Vietnamese place here. I missed Will's last comment. Go back up.
Well, mm, Will says, "Do you agree with law enforcement crashing street car races?" Didn't I?
We've
Did
been
you?
talking about that, Will.
It's not what you meant.
Is that the comment? Because we're talking about it. It's dumb to punish the car for what the owner does. You seize the vehicle, you sell it to somebody else that isn't going to do that, and you punish the owner of the car.
Image says, "Four is a hit in the U.S." Yeah.
Oh, I'm not yawning. You're yawning.
We still have to do the trash.
Yes, I know. And watch our show, and maybe go out and burn.
The one after that one. Let me check.
It looks like it may be a factory Nissan. What? I didn't see another one.
Mm,
He said the one after that. You're way too far back.
oh,
I
antes o después.
be after.
Después.
Después.
No, no tengo
I
uno
didn't. I didn't
después.
see one. What was the comment, Will?
I don't have one, and I have it on all messages. Why
Stray
am I getting
Bullet.
mad?
It looks like they painted this car this color, but they painted everything. They painted the taillight bezels. They painted the surround around the license plate. They painted everything. So that can be fixed. Yes, Josh, it's a US Spec Datsun. This car was not sold in Mexico.
I can send you screenshots. I didn't miss any messages.
But the details can be redone in black and really make the car stand out, assuming the paint's in decent condition. I don't know. It's hard to tell from pictures.
Why are you going believe? Don't believe. Triple says it looks like it may be a factory in color, just not that car, not on the car. Joshua says you expect that soon.
Mm-hmm.
I just think of the bodies you could get in that trunk.
They'd see him though, because it's a hatchback.
Dean says I couldn't care less or give a toss about coleslaw. A nice salad is something I could entertain though. Yeah.
When's the last time you guys have seen a nice neon like this? And add to the bonus, it's a 5-speed manual. You're not going to find a cleaner one than this.
Triple says KFC has pretty good coleslaw thing. No,
I
I
was
hate
I
it.
was wondering who was going to bring up that.
Yeah, I hate KFC's coleslaw. It's sweet. Hate it.
We don't eat there anyway. No fried chicken for me. I bet Firefly's going to go eat fried chicken while his daughter's gone.
It says potato and gravy KFC.
Mashed potatoes and gravy were good, but the gravy has gluten, so I can't eat that anymore.
Will says that Datsun 210 is perfect to swap in a Nissan Y44 4.4
You
liter
said that about the
V8.
280Z. You said that about the 280Z, not the Datsun 210. But we can't do engine swaps here anyway. I'm not allowed to send a car across the border that has an engine swap. So any of that has to be done at the final location.
Scribbler says if it was an SRT4, you might have something.
Well, that's a completely different thing. You're not going to find one of those for a reasonable price.
Fernando says very nice. How much for that neon?
Money? I don't know. It's obviously not going to be a high dollar car, but it's in pretty clean condition. And you haven't even seen the interior yet. $50 for a bucket of KFC now? Oh my god. Why is anybody eating there? It's just chicken. That's crazy.
Wait a second.
Huh?
Nothing. Wait.
Making sure he's still breathing.
Oh.
No airbag on the passenger side. You see that? For a 2000 model Mexican Spec.
What?
Will says, I think YouTube is censoring my comment. My comment was talking about law enforcement crushing street racer cars. We did see that, and we've been talking about that. Will, we've all been talking about that. It's just stupid to punish the car for what the owner does. It's short sighted.
Ah, okay. Sorry, my eye was hurting.
Stephen Andrews, I wanted a nice first gen manual Neon for a while. This isn't a first generation though. This is the second generation, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
yeah, damn that steering wheel. I'm sure an original steering wheel could be found, but people are changing a lot of steering wheels lately.
Dean says, yeah, or if you get a free hat from it, well, if you play guitar, you could fake being Buckethead. Sarah just says, nix the wheel done.
That's easily done. I'm sure there's Neons around that are being parted out. Just get the original steering wheel from it. But paint is nice, interior is nice. It's got the 5 speed, it's got the upscale wheels. What else could you ask for in a Neon?
Pete says, I haven't seen a neon for 15 years up here in Minnesota.
Yeah,
Dean,
you guys, cars don't last too long up there with you guys.
Dean says, steering down.
Gato Spec has not bothered us this whole time.
No.
I wonder where he is. He's
Surrender
probably outside in front.
says, I know, but these are okay too.
I kind of like the second gens. Second gen, kind of like a little bit kind of like the
Yes.
more defined, smoother, stuff like that. I like the taillights on the second gen more than the first gen.
Dean says, I hope this life has more love for Buckethead than the Dutch Garage has for the Isle Brothers.
Isley Brothers.
Oh, my eyes are hurting really bad.
Was Jamie on tonight? Did he do his full 2 hours? I missed Tony's lives.
Steven should know.
Yeah, Steven. Steven was there probably. You send me an email, Steven. I'll try to find the publication again and see how much they're asking for it. They're not high dollar cars, so I mean, of course, it's so nice they may think they have the last nice one in the world. So there are people like that. It's an old car. It's worth a lot of money.
Dean says, do your thing.
I don't want to do a thing. Do not want to drive one of those across the country. Do not want to. I was just talking to a guy. He is imported to the United States 6 Ormegas and a whole bunch of Safaris and all that. And I told him, he says, well, why don't you want to sell a Safari? I says, I do not want to drive it to the transport. I don't want to drive it anywhere. I don't trust the air cooled engines. He says, I don't want to drive one around the block. But he's bought a lot of them and he's sold them on Bring a Trailer, the Mexican editions, the Mexican spec cars. He sold a really, really nice blue Ormega on Bring a Trailer for it brought $21,000. It was a really nice one. And he also bought an orange Ormega from the same guy that we bought the green one from, that Dr. Spec and I went to buy the green one from. He says it wasn't what was represented. It was in poor shape. I said, yeah, same with us. Paint flew off the car. The tail lights broke off the thing. Both tail lights broke off the back of the truck. So no, not good work.
Miranda says, I had not heard of Mr. J disparage the Isley brothers.
Isley Brothers.
Dan says, feisty. Hmm. Me pegó sueño de repente.
Mm-hmm. We're only at 462 on the pages. Pictures. We have 609.
Why do you make so many?
I had to spin this picture around so it would look right, but didn't really work. Looked better than it was upside down. Here's one for Barry and for for Dean. Should put the original wheel covers on though, so I can see what they look like.
Easy. Easy.
It kind of looks like a '67 Fairlane, but not really. It's got a huge hump in the hood. Is that the way it's supposed to be, Dean? I don't think so. Somebody has an engine under that hood. How's this car allowed to be driving around over there if people are if they're so strict on modifications and stuff? I don't know. It looks like it has the cross members on it. You don't really want a carburetor on there, do you?
Yoshua says nice car, except for the odd hood.
Well, maybe it has a high rise carburetor and it needed that extra space. I don't know.
Chevrolet says, why does it have a Chevy hookup?
Good question, Stray Bullet. Ask Dean. He should know. It's his country.
Fernando says, I would be interested in seeking the work in process of converting one of those carryalls.
Work in process. I have a couple of advertisements that show what they started with, and then I have another one. It's a picture. It's not from Mexico. I think it's from Brazil, of a warehouse that, not a warehouse, but a shop that is working on them. But it's the same thing as the guy does here in Guadalajara. He'll take a Lincoln Town Car and he'll turn it into a hearse. He'll cut it right behind the driver's door and he'll create the rest of the car. And they show that process on his TV show. Mexicanicos. Mexicanicos. That's the name of the show. That's definitely a Ford door panel. Definitely. 1968. 67 was different.
America says, a lot of modifications are allowed if you pay for the privilege.
But what if you drive it down the road and the cop that stops you doesn't know you paid for the privilege?
I'm assuming they give you some kind of certification or something.
I doubt that.
You don't know.
The paint was done right. The striker's not painted. I don't think that's where the battery goes, though. I think the price on this was 25,000 New Zealand dollars. He's a set of tires. But it's starting to rust a bit, starting to bubble, and then there's big rust through underneath.
Fernando says, would definitely like to see the bodywork in progress.
I don't know who. I don't know if anybody has those pictures. I mean, I don't even know the names of the conversion companies except for IGT, which was the last 77 carryall I sold. It was converted by IGT. They were one of the better ones. Had a few little extra design cues and stuff like that on it. And if you wanted, they put uh, a toolbox under the hood to put all your tools in because they knew you were going to work with the truck. And the one that I bought came with a full toolbox under the hood, right on the left fender well, and that's the way I sent it to the owner. It came with it. They were his. I didn't take anything out of it. So, are you looking at? What are you looking at?
Sure.
Do I need to read the?
Yes.
Well, then tell me. Stray Bullet. I saw a video of a 2,500 horsepower Capri driving on the street in Australia today. How do you know it was 2,500 horsepower? Capri, like a Mercury Capri? Dr. Speck, when are you supposed to go do your intern thing? When are you supposed to go do your intern thing?
Being
Approximately when? In July? Okay. Okay, the end of July. Okay. You gotta like earth tones if you want to buy this car. The brown and the beige and the yellows and all of that stuff. I don't need power brakes. Is that power brakes? No, that's not power brakes. Not necessary. And here's a Volkswagen van, a Beetle van. Somebody did some customizing on this one too. What are you playing with?
Okay, metiche. Ay.
Gray
Ay.
Bullet, German Capri. It did a pretty easy rolling burnout Mexican. I believe 25 horsepower was accurate. Oh, a German Capri. Okay. Oh, it has Volkswagen van tail lights just like the rear part of the van. It is. Okay, so somebody molded van parts onto a Beetle, and this is what they came up with. Somebody did a lot of work on this one to make it come out right. Lots more room in there too. Front and back seat, storage in the back, and plaid everywhere. Your eyes are going to go cross-eyed looking at that stuff. Don't stare at it.
What the hell? Am I looking into a tunnel? Like the
Yes, you're looking into a tunnel of plaid. Yes,
reminds
exactly
me.
what it is. And that's what you have to see every time you look in the rearview mirror. See who's behind you, which you can't see anyway. Yep. Somebody molded the Volkswagen van parts to the back. As you could see right on the side there, that was where the sliding van door would go.
Mm.
And then the vent in the back to pull the air in. This one's for you, Will. This red wagon, and there's a blue one after this. Like I said yesterday, pay no attention to the broken headlight bezel on the left front side, left lower side. This is definitely a sleeper, and it's got the optional rear wiper, which is something that I have not seen on one of these before. So if it has that option, what other options does it have inside?
Hercules says the Isley Brothers. What song did they do?
This has a chrome piece on the edge of the tailgate and around the inside of the taillights. So that's interesting. But it probably should not have black bezeled taillights. Those have been replaced. But that's all you can find right now for replacements. Will, if you liked a stick shift wagon, there's a really, really nice red V8 manual wagon that I've had a couple of people interested in, but they didn't follow through on it. Very nice truck, a very nice car for a decent price.
Hercules says both would like that car.
Yes, he would. Some parts on his car are equal to this one, like the grill, headlight bezels, the vents on the front side on the side fenders. I don't really like those mats. Look at the way the light is reflecting off that red mat. That would bother me.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the blue one.
Someone says, I think they did a lot of love songs, Barry.
A dual exhaust shooting out the back of the car, just like all wagons should have. Can you see the interior of the red one?
I'll say.
These are still Fairmont wheel covers, but a different style. And they could be painted to match the car. This one's obviously in Guerrero. That's a Guerrero license plate. Starts with an H, but has the outline on it. You do not need the the exhaust pipes sticking out that far on a wagon when you're going to be back there loading stuff into the back of the car. Oh, it looks like one sticking out farther than the other. And it's got a different wheel cover on this side. Didn't see those details before.
So what it says, pretty standard exhaust for a station wagon.
It needs to stop before the bumper. It needs to. Because you're going to keep hitting it when you're putting stuff in back there. So it's missing one wheel cover. These wheel covers were also used on the Granadas, if you remember that. 81, 82 Granadas. And another wood steering wheel. People love the wood steering wheels here. Got power windows. Good thing or bad thing, I'm not sure. Automatic. Bucket seats with a buddy seat. Can't see if it has air conditioning or not. I don't think it does. Gotta have those speakers.
So it says, only one side gets hot, Mexican.
Yeah, right.
But Carafana says, missing reverse light lens.
They all are missing those, buddy, because when you slam that hatch, they come off. The glue was not very good, but I do sell replacements, brand new replacement lenses, so that's not a problem. There doesn't seem to be air conditioning on this car. I can provide new lenses with the car. Easy. No problem. Get so far down. Perro Spec. He's not going to answer to that. He knows his name. I'm not looking forward to tomorrow.
Okay.
You know why.
Mm.
Somebody did a lot of work on this car too. It's got a sliding sunroof that seems to work, open and close. Got the air suspension. Got the interior. Got the color inside and out. Who knows what color it was originally. Flip out windows. This is an impressive car. 64 or 65. We're not exactly sure. The VIN says it's a 64. The original invoice says it's a 65.
So what it says, I'm making a list of my offers for the cars that I like tonight.
Okay. There's the original invoice. Can't really see it, but it says 65 on there for your model. Dumb. Even if it was sold later. and that's the VIN. It starts with 64. It also says Hecho en Mexico. 64. So according to the internet, it's a 64. It's a 64. But what are you gonna do? I don't know if it would be registered according to the VIN or according to the documents that come with it. Are you falling asleep? Yeah, we're all falling asleep.
Need to bring the ladder in.
There's no ladder.
Why?
I loaned it to dipshit, and I think he stole it.
Why would you let him edit?
If he comes here the next time, I'm gonna tell you, I need you to get a patrol unit over here
Why?
because I'm gonna make sure he pays for it. I gotta. If not that, then I'm gonna find somebody to go after him myself. I'll try to do it the legal way first. Bravo
Later.
Mexican will be driving a car carrier all through Mexico to pick them up and deliver them. I don't think I have a license to do that. I have a company that can do that though.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they're on the along the route that they go, because they don't vary from the route. Which is why I said, like, if there's a safari in Morelia, Michoacan, I would have to drive it from there back to Guadalajara to put it on the transport to bring it up here or bring it back down north, south. So that's why I don't want to deal with the Volkswagens out there. If I have to, I have to. But I don't want to. People say, "Oh, the air cooled Volkswagen engine is real dependable," and I tell them I worked for a company. There was a shop in Las Vegas that specialized in air cooled Volkswagens, and being that they were in Las Vegas, they would get calls from people out on the highway trying to drive from Los Angeles to Las Vegas with burned up engines out there. And they would go pick them up and they'd put them in their yard. They must have had 200, 250 Volkswagens of all kinds, Beetles, Carmen Gias, vans, everything sitting in their yard with no titles because the people that own the vans and the cars didn't have any money to fix them, so they didn't even pay for the tow. So then the car sits there. So it was my job if they had a customer on one of those cars that I would do the paperwork to get them the title on the car so they can then sell it.
Dean says, "It's your thing, that lady, for the love of you, and footsteps in the dark." From he,
Baby, baby,
is that song from the Isley Brothers or something?
probably.
Rebel
It's
says, "Yeah."
your thing,
So,
thing, Thang.
Rebel says they are dependable.
That depends.
Regular says, "How much would that 64 Plymouth cost?"
I have to check that again because the guy that owns it had it published for a while. I have to go back and look to see what the price is on it. He's had it for quite a while advertised. It's a very clean car though. Two-door sedan. If that was a 63, it would have sold a long time ago because everybody wants those two-door sedans to turn them into to NASCAR tributes and then sell them for huge money.
Rebel says, "All songs for making love to Dean." I like that he put the comma instead of saying all songs for making love to Dean.
Yes, the comma is very important in that sentence there. Very, very, very important. Wonder where Gato Spec is. Probably cooler outside than it is in the house. So. And he doesn't smell any food in here.
Liv says it's Rebel, even Native Love by Divine. but it's a classic belief. Since says Commodore like music from Ohio began in 1954 as a vocal trio consisting of the brothers of Kelly Isley Jr., Rudolph Isley, and Ronald Isley.
Probably why they called the Isley Brothers. There were sister groups too that did that. All the sisters, 4 or 5 sisters, would form a group that usually doesn't last long because one wants to get married, one wants to have a baby, one wants to do this, and they all go their separate ways. They don't last long. Has there ever been a female group that stayed together like the Rolling Stones did?
Record says, is the 64 Plymouth not as desired as the 63? How about the 65?
Nope, not as desired as the 63. 63 was the pinnacle of the NASCAR cars, the wedge engines in them and everything. Look at the prices on a 63 compared to anything else. And that screws me over because I have 2 of them sitting out here, and when I need parts for them, the prices are really high because they're 63s.
It says, a real likely assumption makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says, yeah, if the group is gay.
Me not know.
So what it says, they fight like cats again.
Yep, they do. What the group that was really popular when I was in high school was the Go-Go's. I was invited to this girl's Sweet 16, and that was her theme: the Go-Go's, all the music, the colors, everything else. And I think the group lasted a couple of years longer, and then disbanded. So no, I don't think a female group has stayed together like the Rolling Stones did. I mean, Blondie still performs, I think, but she's not in a group with other women. She's the head, and she has musicians. Female artists can do it, but not a female group. I don't think one in the history of music has stayed together that long. You guys that know more about music can correct me if there's something that I'm not remembering.
Perguda says, I like the 65 Plymouth best and 64 Dodge.
Are you talking about the 65 Plymouth Satellite that has the body of the 63 and 64? Because the 65 Plymouth full size was a completely different car. That was a C body by that time. Dean says the Bee Gees and the 6 Years of Fanny, but they're female groups that stayed together. I don't know what a BG is.
You don't know what the Bee Gees are?
2 letters. They are Beegee, and those are brothers, the Gibbs. And the 6 Years of Fanny. I know the word Fanny means something else in England.
So well, it says they were still rolling out Mike in the wheelchair pretty recently.
Mick Jagger.
Perguda says, yeah, the Bee Bodies.
Well, nobody really does anything with the 65 satellites, I don't think. But if you look at, just do some searches on the internet, and you'll see that the 63 Plymouth full size, the B body, is what everybody goes after. It's got the look, it's got the turn signals on the front of the fenders, it's got everything. The Bee Gees, they're girls who like girls. I don't think they were girls. They had long hair, but I don't think they were girls.
Image says, it's Keith Richards proof that blood transfusions extend life expectancy.
Somebody's going to study that guy at some point and tell us how he survived with everything that he's done to his body. It may just be genetics. If George Burns can live to 100 with smoking 5 or 6 or 10 cigars a day, anything's possible.
Image says, I remember when the Bee Gees were morose.
Really?
Dean says, I've seen chicks with beards before.
Circus? Glue on beards? It's more common these days, Dean. I understand that. It was all the drugs that preserved Keith. We're gonna have to see. Who knows? Maybe they'll do an autopsy at, when he finally passes. We're gonna see.
Dean says, Keith Richards sniffed up stuff that gave him the edge.
And he's not gonna tell anybody what it was. He's so selfish.
He says, friend of mine smoked six till he was like 96. Died 7 days after his 100th birthday.
So stopping when he stopped smoking, and that's what killed him. 4 years later. I don't know. Some people's bodies are just like that. George Burns said that he smoked a huge number of cigars every day, and I mean, he didn't even get cancer of the lips. He didn't get cancer of anything. Nothing. I don't think he made it to a. Did he make it to 100 though?
Dean says he shouldn't have stopped. I mean,
Mm-mm.
Tribble says Joey Behar is actually Keith Richards in drag.
Why would you insult Keith Richards like that, Stray Bullet? What has he ever done to you? Keith just plays his music, and whatever he does in his off time, he does. You don't have to insult him like that.
Oh,
Tomorrow I'll figure out how much it's going to cost to deliver this truck to the guy. I hope it's as nice as the pictures.
Image says I was watching a film about the Stones in the 1960s. Michael Jackson wanted to look like Mick Jagger.
I think he accomplished it. Very, very skinny, couldn't tell male or female, and the way they moved around on the stage looked pretty similar.
Androgynous?
There you go. That's a word. Hmm.
He says, yep, born on January 20th, 1896. M. Died March 9th, just of spite.
Really hope this is as nice as the pictures show. Because the guy's serious.
Mm-hmm.
All we're going to need to do is go to Acapulco, buy it, drive it to Puebla, avoiding 150D, and deliver it there and fly home. That's all we need to do. 29,180 kilometers original on this truck.
It says March 9, 1990.
The speedometer starts at 20 kilometers per hour. You know that? Did you notice that? The picture right there starts at
Mm.
20.
Boy Carafano says, went to buy car once pictures posted were 4 years old. Car was nothing like pictures showed.
We
Yep,
ran into that earlier this year
yep.
with the green Ram Charger. Yep. There was nothing honest about people. Nothing. I'm gonna have to look really closely at those chassis pictures. I'm gonna have to blow them up and really go over them detail.
I'm gonna ask if I have
It's
someone
not
near
miles per
Acapulco.
hour; it's kilometers per hour, Dean. What?
I'm gonna ask if I have someone near Acapulco.
You have what?
Like if I know someone near Acapulco that can go check the truck.
We have to pay them though.
It says anything below 20 miles per hour is a waste.
We do kilometers here.
MH says I used to transport cars in the U.S. back in the 80s. Got really good at traveling.
You mean you were driving them, or you were using truck and trailer?
It says yeah, metrics. Um,
You have to deal with them too, Dean. Even though all of your numbers are upside down. Well, we're back at the beginning, so I think we're pretty much done here. So thank you everybody for being here. Happy Father's Day to everybody. I mean, I know it's not Father's Day for most of you anymore. There's still an hour and a half left for me. So good night, everybody.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here with us like always. We'll see you next Saturday. And thank you for welcoming Dr. Spec.
Say good night, Dr. Speck.
Good night.
Even though he wasn't here that much, but